Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it is I, Charlie, and I am back for part of me wants to say an Alter Confusion something slightly different, and another part of me says I should probably put, the stamp on the end of Siege. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a stamp on the end of Siege. So, as some of you may have attended or may have noticed, there was a gathering of amazing minds into one area called Siege, the Southern Interactive Entertainment Game Expo. Now, that is a very misleading title. It's not really an expo. It is a learning convention. There's not a lot of whatever. Anyways, so I'm literally now going through all the video I have and trying to cut it into little pieces and then reassemble them and then give it to you, the viewing public. I've already done the keynote from night one, which of course was the Zoe Quinn panel. That was an interesting panel. It was really weird Q&A. I felt that the Grandmaster of the Georgia Game Developer Association basically hijacked the Q&A and made him the point of attention, and then allowed Zoe Quinn to answer questions when he was done, which was a little odd, seeing that she was supposed to be the guest of honor. I also have the Saturday night keynote, which was very interesting. It's by the individual behind Yville, and how, first of all, he gave a talk that was not the one that was scheduled. Sort of. Basically, he utilized all the information he has from Yville, because Yville's been around forever, and he's been using it to basically see patterns in human behavior, in learning and whatnot. He's not really a game designer or a game developer. He is a neurobiologist, and he's basically utilizing his skills into helping evolve a virtual world where people can interact with. And also he gets sponsored by several different companies, and then his group basically puts a spin on it that has value to the Yville community and just builds from there. So we've got that one. I also have the Writing for Games panel, which featured a lot of juggernauts in there. I do have the panel that I was actually on, that I literally was running through the parking lot in just my socks. Okay, I was fully clothed, but I didn't have my shoes on because I was wearing my Alter Confusion Converse, and that would take a while to lace up. So I was literally had my shoes in one hand, my bag with all my recording equipment in the other, and I was sprinting through the Marriott parking lot. And I got there. Thankfully, no one stopped me to ask for my badge. I sat down. I set up the camera. Hopefully, the video is good, because I didn't have any chance to really test to see where the camera was aimed. So if it's poorly aimed, it's all on me. Let's see here. I also was able to give you the recording of. Okay, so there was one where it's basically growing your YouTube or your fan base and getting recognized. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that the audio is probably not the best. There were no mics in the room, so the volume, unfortunately, a lot of the speakers were utilizing their voices as if they were talking to someone on the panel table and not the entire room. So that one should be an interesting one to edit. I also grabbed the panel, which I found very interesting, about basically augmented versus virtual reality. It really wasn't like, what is better, but more of a, it was more of like, let's try to give you the best definition for both of them and how they differ, and how what the future may hold for both. And then, of course, we did in that panel. They did go into the Oculus Rift and Facebook's acquiring of that. I swear to God, I've got another panel recorded. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. I have a lot of panels to go through, so be on the lookout for all those panels. Now, of course, so let me give you the actual rundown of Siege. They extended the expo hall, which was nice. It had a little bit more room, but there was So once upon a time at Siege, there was basically like a holding area where people could just kind of like chill and do their own thing. They brought that back and they put it in the expo hall. So really, the expo hall for people to show off their stuff was of the same size. They just literally just reconfigured it to basically put in like an open table board game area for you to just kind of sit down and shoot the shit with your friends, people that you've met at the convention, whatever. Now, I do know that there were certain individuals at this convention that were very... okay. Siege is put on by local... it's sponsored by local companies. It is not E3. It is not an IGDA summit level conference, okay? In some ways, even though that Siege has been around for almost 10 years, it's still in its infancy. There's still growing pains. They're still growing. And I think that the content and the individuals that are showing up as subject matter experts is only improving as time goes on. That being said, thinking that you're going to have the royal treatment for as a VIP, as a speaker, as an attendee at Siege, they're not there, okay? Unfortunately, in my opinion, the first night party was a degradation of previous years. It was... I understand they were showing off Killing Floor, and yes, it was kind of cool to have those weird shots, even though a vast majority of us are not going to drink shots because we don't do liquor. But it was interesting. It was kind of... the other thing was just like the ambiance wasn't really there. I felt like the DJ was not all together. Maybe they were unfamiliar with... They weren't allowed to bring in their own equipment. They were unfamiliar with the sound system. I don't know, but it just didn't seem to quite work. In contrast, the second night, the one that was put on, sponsored by Xaviant, to basically, party about Lichdom, the band was awesome. Unfortunately, no one was going to be there because sweet parties were starting. Sweet parties. I'm going to say this right now. Alter Confusion does not have enough money to put on a sweet party. But if they were to put on a sweet party, we would pay for everything. We would not try to nickel and dime you. The IGDA sponsored Sweet Party, which is actually in the Concierge Lounge, which seemed like would be the place to be. It was a cash bar. It was literally mini fridge prices. As soon as I found out after they poured me a soda that it was going to cost me $3 for basically a can, I decided to call it a night. Unfortunately, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't have all that much money, and $3 is a lot for a soda, which this right here, that's 2 cans, basically cost me 35 cents. Yeah, 35 cents. So 2 cans in a cup, 35 cents. So was it like a 100% inflation? Something like that? Whatever. Anyways. It was great to see. There were a lot of individuals out there that I was really happy to see. I finally got to see the crazy man himself, Falco, behind Elysian Shadows, and after meeting him, I cannot wait for this game to come into existence. He has passion and developer craziness oozing out his pores. And that's what you want to see. You don't want to see an individual's like, well, I don't actually like making games that I like playing. I just make things that I think people would be suckered into to buying. And I'm going to give you the same thing. I'm just going to tweak it a little bit. There's way too many of those out, too many actual AAA titles doing that out there right now. That I know that it's a working formula, but in my mind, an independent developer should be trying to push the boundaries, not adhere to them. But that might just be me. That's just my opinion. Okay, real quick. I know there was a couple questions around Siege about what happened to my headshot. I have no idea what happened to Ultra Confusion being in the Siege website or manuals. I don't know, and I'm not going to jump to conclusions or make assumptions. It's something that I'm sure either will never come up or will be brought to attention in the near future. I don't know what happened. I know we're running a little bit late. Well, this isn't something slightly different. This is a Siege stamp. This is over thing. I know that I missed out on all the amazing panels on Sunday, and I apologize to anyone who was there. There was a couple that I did want to attend, and I'm really sorry that I wasn't able to videotape them. Hopefully, there's some way that I can get some of that information, because I would really like that. That's the thing. When I videotape oh, that's right. I was running late on Saturday morning, and I ran into the Microsoft BizSpark thing. I don't know if I'm actually going to do that, if I'm actually going to give you that video or not. I guess if people wanted enough, I've got it. I don't know if I'm going to publish it. Simply because this was one where I just literally sat. I wanted to go to another panel, and I got disoriented when I was, of course, running late, because that seems to be my MO when I show up to Siege. So I unfortunately did not get to record the one I wanted to. So I apologize to Burton for missing his panel, because that's the one I really wanted to be at. Okay, I think that's it. Like I said, I've got a lot of videos to edit, render, post online, and then, of course, throw in Ultra Confusion. I hope that you enjoy all of them if you did not go to Siege. If you did go to Siege, I hope that you enjoyed all of Siege. And know this, I'm almost 100% sure that all the individuals who are behind putting Siege on are always striving to make it better. So if there was something that you found not up to what you anticipated, I know that there are individuals in the GDDA that are always willing to, are very open to suggestion, and will take under consideration anything you have to say, at least noting what you said. And I'm sure that if you say something, I'm sure you're not the only one who may have caught on to that. So anyways, thank you for tuning in to the Siege wrap-up for Ultra Confusion. Myself is Charlie. Whatever. Thank you for tuning in, and hopefully you will see all these amazing videos coming up very, very shortly. But until then, thank you for tuning in, and stay tuned to a bunch of stuff coming on Ultra Confusion, because not only are these videos going to be posting, but there are a lot of reviews and a lot of other gaming news coming to you very, very soon. So be on the lookout.